first goal for the club. They tried to get a second goal, it didn't seem to be coming, and then Bernardo Silva on the end of a scooped pass by Alvarez made it 2-1, and Erling Haaland 4 minutes from time, after a day in which he'd missed a couple of great chances and seen the best of Areola, finally got his goal, his 7th of the season, and the 3 points were the Blues. A brilliant save from Edison to deny Zuma was certainly a pivotal moment in the game, but so far so very good at the start of this new season. Play 5, 1-5, the champions, top of the table. Well, let's go back to the studio and we can hear the views of Shaun Wright-Phillips, of Keith Curle and David James with Natalie.
What did we tell you at half-time? Patience, patience, no need to worry. And indeed, there was no need to worry because City had a phenomenal second half. Look at the scenes at the London Stadium. Those away travelling fans have had a brilliant afternoon. So that is 5 Premier League games, 5 wins for City, 15 points, top of the Premier League. And look at the celebrations. I'm still joined by Shaun Wright-Phillips. Shaun, 5 games into the Premier League, look how both the fans and the players are celebrating.
And it shows that winning mentality. I think to these boys and the players that's come in, I would say, so winning is almost a drug. It's something they can't get enough of. They just want it more and more, and they just want to supersede everything they've already done and do it all over again, which is a great attribute to have.
Debut for Nunes today, and we see Pep taking a moment, David James, to looks like he was saying, yeah, well done, great.
Yeah, and he should do. I mean, we were saying watching that second half that he just looked like he's been there for ages. I think I can only speak from what I've just seen, that the City fans would be so happy because I think that's the best they played this season. From everyone, and including Edison, which sounds slightly ironic, but Edison with 2 or 3 wonderful saves. But other than that, that was the most dominant. And even Alistair Mann was saying in commentary, 20 odd shots for an away team. You just don't hear of things like that. It was a superb performance in the end.
Keith Curle, you agree with David? Is that the best performance of the season so far?
Yeah, and again, I think you posed the question at half-time, were we expecting any changes? And you're saying, well, no, have faith and trust the players that you've got on the pitch, and I think that bore fruit. David Moyes will be raging as a manager to go out and concede within a minute, because that changes the mindset and changes the mentality, certainly on the side of the pitch.
Really does. Welcome back to Match Day Live. Thank you for joining us at full time. Manchester City have beaten West Ham. Somebody in this studio predicted the scoreline. Who's looking the most smug right now? Oh, it's Shaun Wright-Phillips. 3-1, well done.
I should have did a lottery, shouldn't I?
Yeah. Not only did you predict the score, but at half-time you made particular points about Jeremy Doku, and then less than 1 minute, and if I'm being really honest with you, I hadn't even properly sat down in my chair. I'd got up to get something to eat, hadn't even really sat down, and we'd scored. It was that quick. So you were spot on that as well.
No, it's just, it's a thing, like I would say as a winger, when you have the beating of a fullback, and I think your teammates notice it as well. So if you noticed in the first half, they did try to get him the ball as much as possible, and they just carried that on, but he carried on that, and he did something that Keith and Jamer spoke about. He made that mistake. Can he shrug it off and kind of move forward? And he did that quickly. And after that, then he just had him on toast for the rest of the game.
Yeah, what did you make of his performance today overall, Keith?
Yeah, the goal aside, I think, and I think the attributes that he's got with his pace, I think you're going to see that goal repeated. Driving at a fullback, threatening to go around the outside, cutting inside, and it's a pass into the far corner. I think it's something that hopefully we see a lot of. But he's got the threats, like Shaun was saying, early doors, get the ball and go at him and show the fullback that you've got to beat him on him pace-wise. Because when you're a defender and you're faced against pace, it's the worst thing. You don't mind somebody who's a tricky player because they delay play, and then you've got people to come and help you as well. Somebody that just gets it and runs at you, it's horrible.
We talked at half-time as well about West Ham going in happy, playing the way that they wanted to play. So within a minute of the second half, David, has their game plan just totally gone out the window then?
Yeah, that was a game change. I mean, there was a lot of the second half which mirrored the first half. But with regards to, I think, West Ham's resistance, that is kind of like, what do we do now? I'm sure there was a lot of fans around the country, around the world, shall I say, who were making cups of tea, maybe pouring a nice cool drink, got back and then went, hang on a minute, they've just scored. It was, I mean, as Keith said, it was a wonderful, wonderful goal. Soufal was in completely the wrong defensive position. And it was like Doku just went, go on, just keep going. And as soon as that little spot opened up, curled it. And that picture there is perfect. Areola, who was player of the match, without doubt. And again, testifies how well Manchester City played. But what a finish.
It was a brilliant finish, Keith. It was such a good finish from him, wasn't it? It was so calm and precise.
I must admit, watching it live, I was more interested. Well, not so much. I was looking at what yourself and Shaun were having to eat. And then I just looked up and I just saw the goal going in. So luckily, I did see the repeat. By the way, Shaun did have the healthy one.
It's been a busy day. We were treating ourselves, Keith. Well, from your point of view, as someone obviously who's scored similar goals to that, Shaun, tell us about the finish.
It was a fantastic finish. The part that caught my eye is how he got himself in that position. I think that the jinkiness, the confidence to unsettle the defence, to put himself in a position where he knows the defenders can't touch him, and then to have the maturity to kind of look up and, like Keith said and James said, not shoot it, pass it around the goalkeeper into that side net. And I think that those are like things you can't teach people. He didn't snatch at it, he didn't rush. It's almost like he took a deep breath, just passed it in the back of the net.
So 1-1 at that point, and then for about the next sort of 10-15 minutes after that, you mentioned Areola, but Ederson had to make a couple of cracking saves as well. I know you love it when goalkeepers do well on this show, David.
Yeah, I mean, it was, as I say, Ederson. I'm just thinking about West Ham in this. West Ham essentially did everything that West Ham would have expected to do in the game. And I think from the success they've had before today's game, the header from Zuma, which is, I think, his second shot this season, was a superb save. Absolutely, from the corner, big, strong left hand to put it around the post. That goes in. That's essentially what West Ham are waiting for. And then there was the next one where it was the one-on-one. And those two moments, if Ederson hadn't been as good as he would, then West Ham get the rewards they were after. And it was, again, such a fantastic game. And Alistair said in commentary, I'm sitting here thinking, this is great game of football. And Alistair said, this is great game of football. I think everyone thinks this is a great game of football. I mean, everyone played their part to the highest level. You know, Doku made a mistake. And I just have to go back to him quickly on this, because when I think they do the analysis, Shaun made a point when if he'd have sprinted when he lost the ball at the beginning, I think Soufal would have stopped and cut the ball back, and then they wouldn't have been 1-0 down. So he scored his goal afterwards. They've won the game 3-1. Fantastic performance. Just do the sprint first, and then the fantastic performance will be even better, and he will start to learn how to be a Man City player, game in, game out. But Ederson, going back to him because we have to, superb.
Yeah, there was a particular save, I'm going to call it save, in the second half, Keith, where I think it was Antonio was running down. Diaz was on the side of him as well. Yeah. From the defender's point of view, Diaz played a big part in stopping that opportunity. Yeah,
well, being there and having his presence. I think Antonio's will be disappointed because of his touch. I said to Shawnee, the one thing as a defender, what you didn't want would be the centre forward to take his touch across you, because then any contact, then you're off. Or then when he goes cross onto his right foot, he's going to open up the whole goal. I think him staying there and being a presence, and that combining with Antonio's, I don't think it was a good touch. I think it was a bigger touch. And then again, you've got to say then the goalkeeper Ederson.
It's brilliant save, Keith. Come on.
But he was in a good position so that if there was a heavy touch, he was able to come out. If not, he was going to stand big and say, "Go on, you've got to beat me." You do get a lot of goalkeepers that they come rushing out, and you see him on the edge of the box, and the player goes round him, or it's an easy finish. It's that decision making, and it is a split second from a goalkeeper to be in a good position, hold your ground, and then if there is a big touch, go and take it. And I thought that was excellent. And like you said, then the defending, being a presence, and that willingness to get back, make the striker know that you're there and be a presence.
And it's still 1-1 at this point. We've had a couple of good saves, and then we go on about 10 minutes later. This man that we can see on the screen behind us scores to make it 2-1. First of all, the Bernardo Silva goal on its own, Shaun, but then tell us as well about how well Erling Haaland does to not touch it.
100%. I most probably would have stuck my leg out, to be honest with you. It was the way he goes to, and then he's almost like, I know I'm in offside position there, and he kind of just pulls his foot back a little bit. I think if he actually kind of tries and swings, they most probably give an offside.
Yeah.
But the ball from Rodri, the little scoop over, I feel like defenders should do a bit better, but I can see what Rodri was trying to do, and it bounces perfectly.
Yeah, fair play to Silva. I would have thought, when the ball's just bounced over the defender, I'm thinking the goalkeeper's going to come out and absolutely
smash him.
flatten it.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Luckily, he stayed on his line, anticipating.
Yeah, difficult for Areola there was because the ball had bounced so close to Silva, he can't go.
Yeah.
And then it bounces up. And then it's a lovely head. And I loved Erling Haaland's expression. Yeah. It was like... There was a moment.
I want to touch it.
There was a moment when I was thinking, did he go for that?
Yeah. It must have been so hard though when your entire natural reactions of your entire being is to get to balls, and then you're like,
and you haven't scored already.
But his opportunity did come. Before that, Areola had some more good saves, but his opportunity did come in the 86th minute, and he looked relieved when he scored. But I mean, in terms of the finish, Keith, I mean, that was whacked into the bottom corner.
Great finish, good understanding of where he is on the pitch. Kept his head down and didn't look up because he knew where he was. Good contact. And again, you get good strikers. I can remember, again, different era completely, but Steve Bull. He was a goal scorer. There was lots of parts of his game not good, but goal scorer, and that was it. But he had the mentality that he was going to continue being in the right place at the right time, and that's what Haaland does. He's got a strong mental attitude that he's going to continue being in the right place at the right time and make the right decisions because he knows he's going to get the rewards.
Just to keep doing it, yep.
But did you see Nunes' run? I think Nunes' run played a massive part in that goal because it puts Soufal in two different minds where he kind of steps 3 or 2 yards inwards, which allows that space to Bernardo to give Haaland that ball, and then after Haaland gets the ball there, we saw the end result to that.
But it's a quick feat. I mean, the one thing, I love this image here, and Shaun was thinking, could he have chested it? I think the ball was actually a little bit behind him, and he just improvised. But when you think back to Sheffield United, where he missed the penalty and then scored later, it doesn't seem to faze him.
Nope.
Yeah.
Which I think is a great thing, because today there could have been a lot of criticism for the 2 chances which he would have normally scored, and Keith, I think, explained it very well at half time. But it was like, no, give me another chance. And the speed of feet, bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, quick.
And this is after Areola made a good save off that one. There was another one which he made when Haaland came in. I mean, as I said, Areola was player of the match, but Haaland's like, I did say at half time, anyone who's got him in a fantasy league, he knew about it.
Yeah, those of us that
I don't even know why I brought that
those of us that captained him and didn't try and go tricky and go for Son were very relieved, very, very relieved at that point. I want to have another word though on Nunes, because of course it was his debut today. Came on in about the 65th, 66th minute. I mean, I feel like, I hope you know what I mean, Keith. My greatest compliment to him was that I didn't particularly notice him, but in a good way, because it was like, he slotted straight into the team. Yeah,
it's that seamless transition straight into a team. And again, it's the simplicity of his play. And it's the way that City play is, they make it look simple. So don't complicate it. So keep the ball moving. You're moving the opposition around. Again, it's easier, I think, when you're playing in a team that's going to dominate possession, because then all your mindset then is you're trying to affect the opposition, which means then sometimes go and get the ball, drop it off, make somebody come with you, because then doing that, you're creating a space for somebody else who's going to operate. And again, it doesn't happen instantly, but again, the more you're in that system, the more you get introduced and get time on the pitch. I think everybody now, every ex-footballer now would love to be playing in a Man City team, being coached by Pep and getting that understanding. Because again, a lot of professional footballers think that I could play in that.
Were you impressed with his debut?
Yeah, and he came on at 1-1.
Oh, okay.
He came on at 1-1.
So you're giving him
game changer.
Yes, full credit.
Well, it's interesting because Phil Foden came off, and Phil Foden's a player that you would think you would want on to unlock the key. And Nunes comes in, fits in, as you said, seamlessly, and then Man City create more chances and score 2 goals. So, says a lot. For a man who doesn't, for a manager who doesn't make many substitutions in unwinning positions.
So Nunes comes on at 1-1, but to get to 1-1, we needed Jeremy Doku to equalise for us, and he did so 1 minute into the second half. We spoke to him right after the game to get his thoughts on today's match.
Jeremy, a great performance from the team, especially having to come back from a goal down. How do you reflect on that performance?
The team performance, I think we react well. We had a lot of chances in the first half. We didn't score, but we kept on going. And they scored a goal. I had a bad touch, so I was a little bit disappointed. But as I said, we reacted well and we kept on playing. And after that, we scored 3 goals and we played a good game.
And you got your first City goal. How much does that mean?
A lot, especially after the goal that they scored. As I said, I was really disappointed because it came of me and I wanted to do something back, a good thing, and I scored and I helped the team. So that's really important and I'm happy for that.
How much did you enjoy the battle with Vladimir Sofal on that left side?
I enjoyed it. I had a lot of 1v1s and that's also our style of play. The coach knows that I'm good in that, and we always look for the 1v1s and going to attract some players with me so that other players are free. That's what I tried to do and it worked, and I enjoyed the game against him, of course.
Has the manager said anything to you just now? Pat on the back, perhaps?
He said the first game was a little bit shy, and now today, no. And I agree. Like I said, the first game against Fulham, it was the first game. I know I could do a lot better. Today I showed a little bit more of what I'm capable of, and I'm happy to score a goal. And as he said, I was a little bit less shy today.
And finally, how much are you enjoying your life at City?
I'm not realizing it, but I enjoy a lot. It's a big moment for me and my family. We're enjoying it a lot, and I hope we can win a lot of games, win a lot of trophies, and I can score and help the team a lot.
Good luck. Thank you. Well done.
Thank you.
Oh, Jeremy Doku speaking after today's game. He got the equalising goal. I loved what he said there, the idea that he thought he'd made the mistake for the West Ham goal and he wanted to repay the team. Love that attitude. So, a Premier League game today, that's 5 in a row now. But we turn our attention back to the Champions League, because on Tuesday night we start our campaign to re-win our trophy. I love saying that. Our first group game on Tuesday night is at home. It's against Red Star Belgrade. Kel Spellman will be joined in the studio by Steph Horton, by David James, you're coming back, and by Steve Howie. And FG will be pitchside inside the stadium for some more fun, of course, and his unique insight. So, Tuesday night, we restart our campaign. Shaun, I can't wait to play our first game as champions of Europe.
It's exciting, I think, but at the minute we just got to take every game by game. This was the first one, obviously, going to West Ham and winning that game. And now we're back at home, and now we just have to focus on that. I think it wouldn't surprise me if there was a few changes around just to freshen it up a little bit, but I think they should be able to navigate their way around and win this one.
So Red Star Belgrade we take on Tuesday. I don't think we've played them before. I don't recall us playing them before. They've of course got incredible European pedigree themselves. They've won the competition back in 1990-91. In terms of them as a team, David, they tend to dominate their league, although they are second this year. They've incredibly lost. They've lost a game in the league, which is like unheard of. What do you make of them as opponents? How difficult? What do you think it might be on Tuesday?
I don't. I don't think it'll be difficult. But having said that, depending on how many changes Pep decides to make, the Serbian league isn't particularly strong. I mean, they have a massive rivalry with Partizan Belgrade. A bit similar to, obviously, Manchester City and the other team, who particularly aren't good at home lately. I don't want to bring that up too much.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, right. No, I think it'll be... I played against Red Star a few years ago in Europa competition. I'm just thinking the Etihad is going to be amazing, like you said, because the European champions and soon to be world champions are going to be able to show everyone why they were champions. But for the City fans, when they go into the reverse fixture, Belgrade is a football hotspot, and even for our lowly IBV, formerly David Moyes' team, just bringing the whole show back into full circle.
Very nice,
To actually play in Belgrade, experience football in Belgrade is amazing.
So did you play in their stadium? Did you walk through that tunnel that we keep seeing the pictures of?
Yes.
What's it like?
It was amazing. So, just quick story. So in Iceland, we had crowds of, if we had 2,000, it was a big crowd. And it was their first game of the season, because it was a qualifier, 30,000 fans. Not as raucous as necessarily the derby, but the flares were going off. It was amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yes, I'm hoping that we're all done and dusted by the time we go there in December. Yes,
that would be nice.
Yes, that would be nice. Yes, starting off the campaign at home is lovely as well. Like I say, going first game back in the Champions League as champions of Europe. We've all mentioned it in terms of those changes. How much rotation are you expecting, considering we do have quite a few injuries?
To be honest, I don't think there will be many. Maybe one. Possibly two, but again, it's the start of the journey again. But it's also an opportunity to, when you're playing at home in the competition, it's vitally important that you win your home games. So I don't think it won't be taken lightly, obviously, because we know the success that it's brought last season. So again, is this an opportunity then for players to get introduced within the game? Yes, certainly, but not to start.
It feels like for teams like this in the Champions League, Shaun, where they dominate their own competitions, coming into Europe at this point is an opportunity for them to play big games, to play against the champions of Europe. Do you think that is going to give teams a lift? Are we going to face different challenges this year that these teams want to beat the champions of Europe?
Sometimes I always see it as maybe a problem for those teams. I think PSG personally have suffered from it. They're so used to dominating their league at whatever tempo they wanted to, and then they'll play against the better teams within the Champions Leagues and in their domestic leagues, and it's hard to just flick that switch up and say get to a Man City's level or Bayern Munich or Real Madrid, because those sort of teams, if you give them like half a chance, can put you to sleep. And I think that will be their biggest issue, is can they raise the bar to say a Manchester City's level, especially at the Etihad. At home, like James said, maybe it'd be different because there are full crowds behind them, but they're coming here. I think it'll be a tough ask, personally.
Well, I cannot wait for it on Tuesday. Champions League returns. Match day live. Well, match day live.
I was going to say we've got a promotion.
Oh. Sorry, we'll be with you on Tuesday. Kelsey Bellman will be here in the studio with you then. Cannot wait. Champions League is back. Gents, thank you all for being here today. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shaun. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, David. Enjoy Tuesday night with Curle. And thank you all for joining us on Match Day Live again today, where City have won 5 in a row in the Premier League. Let's have a look now what we can expect on City Plus for the month of September.
Instead of me making that run across the face where I know the centre back is going to go, I just hold my run a little bit. Then I just looked at Chloe and she just played the perfect pass. So I was free. Instead of making that run, I just held back when the defender already, so I created the space for myself. But because I know that they're anticipating me to go there, I just hold my run slightly.
I was 14, honestly, when I trained with the first team for the first time, and there was like Shay giving in goal. Wow. Stephen, Stephen. Like, obviously there was a photographer there, and I was in the back of one of the photos and I was buzzing.
Here's Galvez. Good ball towards Dixon, and Sodje scores, and the Blues are back in. Phil Foden. Pulled back here to Alvarez. Good chance, good goal.
De Bruyne has nicked it, and De Bruyne scores.